Awakening, breaking free from unconscious living. Have you ever caught yourself reacting to a situation and wondered, why am I doing this again? Or perhaps you've been on autopilot all day, only to realize in the evening that you barely remember what happened. If so, you're not alone. Most of us move through life in a state of unconsciousness, seeing the world not as it is, but as we are. Through filters built from our past experiences, cultural conditioning, and deeply held beliefs. Today I want to explore what it means to truly wake up from this unconscious state, and how doing so can transform every aspect of your life. From your workplace relationships to your family dynamics, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself. The unconscious life. Think about your typical day. You wake up, maybe check your phone immediately, rush through your morning routine, react to emails, navigate workplace dynamics, come home tired, scroll through social media, and fall asleep. Rinse and repeat. But how much of that day did you actually experience consciously? How many of your responses were thoughtful choices rather than automatic reactions? From our earliest years, we develop filters through which we interpret everything. When your colleague doesn't acknowledge your idea in a meeting, your filter might immediately translate that as, "She doesn't respect me." When your partner is quiet during dinner, your filter might decide, "He's angry with me." These interpretations feel like reality, but they're just stories created by our minds based on past experiences and fears. The most challenging part is that we don't even realize we're wearing these filters. We believe we're seeing reality clearly while everyone else is biased. This is the essence of unconscious living, mistaking our interpretations for truth and reacting based on those misperceptions. The hidden cost. Living this way extracts a tremendous toll. Our relationships suffer when we're constantly reacting to our interpretations rather than what's actually happening. That colleague may have been distracted by a family crisis, not dismissing your idea. Your partner might be processing a difficult work situation, not upset with you at all. These misinterpretations create unnecessary conflict, distance, and misunderstanding. Workplace environments become tense battlegrounds rather than collaborative spaces. Family gatherings turn into minefields of old triggers and unresolved patterns. But perhaps the greatest cost is to ourselves. Living unconsciously means carrying an enormous amount of mental and emotional baggage. Grudges that should have been released years ago, fears based on outdated experiences, judgments that limit our connections with others, anxieties about futures that never arrive. This baggage accumulates over time, weighing down our hearts and minds, draining our energy, and disconnecting us from our true nature, which is naturally aware, open, and at peace. Moments of awakening. For most people, waking up doesn't happen all at once. Instead, it begins with moments, brief glimpses where something shifts in our usual pattern of perception. Maybe you're in the middle of an argument when suddenly you see the absurdity of getting so worked up over something trivial. Or perhaps you're walking in nature and experience a moment of complete presence, where your mental chatter falls away and you feel unexpectedly at peace. Sometimes it happens in moments of great challenge or loss, when our usual ways of coping simply don't work anymore. These moments are invitations. They show us there's another way of experiencing life, one not ruled by unconscious patterns, but illuminated by awareness. They reveal the gap between what's actually happening and the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. The question is, will we accept the invitation? Will we pay attention to these glimpses and allow them to guide us toward a more conscious way of living? Why we resist change. Even when we recognize the limitations of unconscious living, something in us resists waking up. That something is what many traditions call the ego, not who we truly are, but the identity we've constructed and defended over years. The ego isn't the enemy. It developed to help us function in the world and protect us from perceived threats. But it fears change because change threatens its control. It prefers familiar pain to unfamiliar possibility. What if people don't like the real me? What if I lose control? What if changing means admitting I've been wrong all along? These fears arise naturally when we contemplate any significant transformation. The key is recognizing them as expressions of resistance rather than valid reasons to remain stuck in unconscious patterns. Fear may tell you that questioning your perceptions is dangerous or unnecessary. It may convince you that your judgments about others are entirely justified. It may insist that the way you've always done things is the only way they can be done. But beyond this fear lies freedom. The freedom to see clearly and choose consciously rather than react automatically. The path to waking up. So how do we begin this journey of awakening? How do we start to see beyond our filters and free ourselves from automatic patterns? Here are 4 essential practices that can help. 1. Develop the observer. The first step in waking up is learning to observe your thoughts rather than being completely identified with them. This means developing what some traditions call the witness, the aspect of consciousness that can notice thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them. Notice the difference between saying, "I am angry," and "I notice anger arising." One statement represents complete identification with the emotion. The other creates space, the space of awareness. You can practice this right now. Take a moment to notice what you're thinking, and then recognize that something in you is aware of those thoughts. That awareness is who you really are, not the thoughts themselves. This simple shift is revolutionary. It's the beginning of freedom from the tyranny of unconscious thinking. 2. Question your interpretations. When you find yourself reacting strongly to something, pause and ask, is this actually true, or is it my interpretation? What else might be happening here that I'm not seeing? How might someone else view this situation? What if the opposite of what I believe is true? These questions help weaken the grip of your filters, allowing you to see more clearly and respond more wisely. For example, if you're thinking, my boss is micromanaging me because she doesn't trust me, you might consider alternative interpretations. Perhaps she's under pressure from her own superiors. Maybe she's dealing with anxiety that has nothing to do with you. Perhaps her management style is based on her own experience of what creates success. Questioning doesn't mean deciding your initial interpretation is wrong. It simply opens the possibility that reality might be more complex than your first impression. 3. Meditation, the transformative practice. Meditation isn't about achieving a special state or emptying your mind of all thoughts. It's about developing a different relationship with your thoughts and emotions. Learning to let them come and go without being completely identified with them. Even 5 minutes daily of simply sitting and watching your breath can begin rewiring neural pathways. You're training yourself to be present rather than caught in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Through consistent practice, you'll begin noticing the gaps between thoughts, the spaciousness of pure awareness that has been there all along but was overlooked in the constant stream of thinking. Don't worry about doing it right. The only way to fail at meditation is to not do it at all. Even a distracted meditation is training your ability to notice when you've been carried away by thought and gently return to presence. 4. Bring awareness into daily life. Awakening isn't just something that happens in formal practice. It's about bringing that same quality of presence into every aspect of life. When talking with a family member, can you truly listen without planning your response or filtering their words through your assumptions? When feeling triggered at work, can you pause before reacting automatically? When judgments arise about yourself or others, can you notice them without immediately believing them? Each moment offers an opportunity to choose consciousness over conditioning. The more often you make this choice, the more it becomes your natural way of being. The transformed life. As you practice these steps, gradually but inevitably, changes begin to unfold. Relationships transform when you stop projecting your interpretations onto others and start seeing them more clearly. Conflicts that once seemed inevitable become opportunities for deeper understanding. You begin responding to the person in front of you rather than to your ideas about them. Work becomes more fulfilling when you're responding to what's actually needed rather than reacting from insecurity or habit. You bring fresh creativity and presence to challenges instead of approaching them with the same old patterns. Family dynamics shift as you stop playing familiar roles and bring awareness to long-established patterns. You create space for authentic connection rather than automatic reactions based on history. But perhaps the most profound change happens in your relationship with yourself. The mental baggage that once seemed so essential begins to fall away. You realize that much of what you carried was never yours to begin with, just conditioning absorbed along the way. In its place grows a sense of spaciousness, of possibility, of returning to who you've always been beneath the layers of unconscious patterning. You find yourself appreciating simple moments, feeling more gratitude, and experiencing peace, even amid life's inevitable challenges. The continuing journey awakening is not a destination, but a journey, one that continues to unfold throughout life. There will still be challenges, still be moments of forgetting and falling back into old patterns. You'll still experience the full range of human emotions, including difficult ones. The difference is that now you have a choice. Now you know that between stimulus and response lies a space, the space of consciousness, and in that space lies your freedom. When you feel yourself reacting automatically, you can pause. When you notice yourself making judgments, you can question them. When you find yourself lost in thought, you can return to presence. In a world that often celebrates unconsciousness, reactive thinking, judgment, division, choosing awareness is a revolutionary act. It transforms not only your life but ripples outward, affecting everyone you encounter. The invitation is always there in every moment. Wake up, see clearly, choose differently, be free. I hope this exploration has sparked something in you, perhaps recognition of your own patterns, or a reminder of those moments when you've experienced the freedom of greater awareness. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How have you noticed unconscious patterns in your own life? What practices have helped you become more aware? If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others who might benefit. Together, we can create a more conscious world, one awakening at a time. Thank you for your presence and attention. Until next time, stay aware. If this resonated with you in any way, please like and subscribe, or leave comments to stimulate conversations. I am still learning daily. Thank you.